students, this is Subramaniam, and in this today class we are going to learn about atomic structure. So let's get into the class now. So all of us has a doubt, what is an atom? So in 400 BC, our Indian and Greek philosophers believed that atom is the smallest particle and it is made up of matter. So here atom in Greek, atom is nothing but atomio. So here A means un and here tomio means cuttable. So they believe that atom is uncuttable and non-dividable particle. So here later on in the earlier years of 18th century, a scientist named Dalton, he proved that atom is the smallest particle and matter is made up of tiny thing called atom, and he given three laws. And coming to the first law, it is law of conservation of mass. So all we know that mass is neither be created nor be destroyed. And in the chemical reactions, mass of reactants is equal to mass of products. This statement proves the first law. And coming to the second law, constant composition. For example, let's take glucose C6H12O6. In these, here carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are present, and the oxygen ratio in this is 1:2:1. Here it states that, and let us take example 2, that is CO2, carbon dioxide. Here carbon is 1 and 2 atoms of oxygen are present. Here the ratio is 1:1. It states that in the chemical compounds, the composition of every element is in fixed ratio without source and methodology. So coming to the third, law of multiple proportions. So in these two elements, for example, let's take carbon and oxygen. Here carbon and oxygen might form either CO or CO2 and many more. Here it states that two elements combine to form more than two compounds in a fixed ratio. And the weight of one element is mixed with the particular weight of another element is in the ratio of fixed whole number. So in this CO, 1 grams of C combined to form 16 grams of oxygen, which in the ratio of 1:1 approx. And in CO2, 12 grams of carbon combines with 32 grams of oxygen, which the ratio between carbon and oxygen is 1:2 approx. So this states that it is in a fixed of whole number. So coming to the drawbacks of this Dalton's atomic theory. First one is, he didn't explain about the subatomic particles. Okay, what is subatomic particles? So in the later years of 19th and 20th century, and it is proved that subatomic particles are proton, neutron, and electron, and there are few neutronium and antineutronium out of few. Okay. So these are the basic fundamental particles. He didn't explain this too, and Dalton stated that atom is indivisible, but atom is divided into three particles. They are proton, electron, and neutron. So these are the two drawbacks of this Dalton atomic theory. And topic is discovery of electron. So the first scientist who worked on it is Michael Faraday. Basically, he works on solutions when he mixes NaCl with water, and after passing current, he observed that there might be one side compounds are forming and other side the solutions are dissolving. So when he passes NaCl with H2O and passing current, he observed that from one side either it's forming compounds and other side forming solutions. So later on he works on an experiment named cathode ray discharge tube. He is the first founder of this. So when this is the voltage one, and when he passes 10,000 volts to it, and it is the aluminum, and this is the aluminum plate, and it is the anode, and it is the cathode, and this is the vacuum. Either gases will be inserted or removed. So when he passes this current to this, a race between cathode and anode are flowing from this. So he indicated that these rays are coming from the gases, might be coming from the gases, and he has no idea what's happening there. And later on, after 20 years, a scientist named Peter he kept an object beside the cathode ray and he observed a shadow. So he stops that experiment there, and later on, a scientist named Crookes he done a wonderful thing, that is, he kept a electric field and magnetic field to this discharge tube, and he observed that when kept in electric field, the rays are going to the positive anode side, and when applying magnetic field, the rays are bending to the south side. So these and so after many years, a scientist named J.J. Thomson he developed the experiment and he found that there is a negative charge particle and it is called electron. And this is the cathode and this is the anode, and he took 10,000 volts of current and he took 0.01 mm of mercury in this tube, and he did one thing here, he kept holes in the anode plate. That's when the cathode rays from the negative plate are flowing, a few ray of particle are passing through this hole and falling on this ZNS fluorescent material, because when some ray fall on this ZNS fluorescent material, it will shine so that we can visible the rays. So by this experiment, he observed that there is a negative charge particle moving from cathode to anode. The second thing, it moves in a straight line. So, and third thing, he uses ZNS fluorescent material for visibility the rays. So, by this we can conclude that the properties of cathode rays are: it is a negative charge and it moves in straight line, and when applying electric field, it moves to the positive, it moves to the anode plate and it consists of positive charge, moves to the positive charge, and when applying magnetic field, it bends to the south side. So these are the properties of cathode rays. So after some years, he developed this experiment again and again. So at final, he directly added this voltage to the dielectric plate, and he expanded the experiment to when the rays are passing through this is the ZNS fluorescent material. %90 of the rays are falling at this A point, and remaining percentage of this are falling from B, and when applying the electric field, the rays are falling on the B point like this, B, D and E. When applying magnetic field, they are moving to the south side. So this determines that he finds the E by M value, that is specific charge. So he finds the specific charge of an negative charge particle, that is 1.75 into 10⁻⁻11 coulomb per kg. After several experiments and he noted many values, at this common point he found that E by M value is 1.75 into 10 power minus 10 power 11 coulomb per kg. So by this a scientist known Millikan's oil drop experiment. Here he takes a container with atomizer. It consists of oil drops. When the oil drops are falling from this hole, so when X-rays are passing through this area, so it releases electrons. So these electrons are collided. This is the oil drop, and these are the electrons collided with this oil drop. This oil drop is neither be going to the down due to gravitational force or neither be repelling upside, because here it is a negative charge particle and it is the positive. Due to the repelling of opposite same charges, it is not repelling down or going up. So this determines that it might be a negative charge particle, and he calculates the charge of an electron. He compares the total charge of oil drop with some random number into charge, and he get many values, and he get one certain comment, taking y as x-axis and taking y as an y-axis, and by this he got a straight line with this graph. At one point he determined that E is 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. This is the charge of an electron. He determines the charge and he finds the charge of an electron. By this, we also know that E by M value is 1.75 into 10 power 11 coulomb per kg. We know this. So by this, we also know that charge of an electron. By this, we can get mass. So 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb by M is equal to 1.75 into 10 power 11 coulomb per kg. So we can get mass by 1.602 into 10 power of minus 19 coulomb by 1.75 into 10 power of 11 coulomb per kg. Here coulomb will be cancelled and we get mass by 9.3 into 10 power of minus 31 kg. So this is the mass of an electron. So by this, charge, mass and given value are found. This is the history of an electron. This is how the electron was determined and they found the charges and masses of the electron. So let's get into the next topic, atomic models. So our first atomic model is J.J. Thomson atomic model. After his experiment, he determines that this experiment is also known as watermelon model. That is, it is in shape of circle. The seeds in this watermelon are electrons, and the fibrous part, this fibrous part is positive charge particle. So it is also known as plum pudding model also. So he determines that the seeds are negative charge and the fibrous part is positive charge. So, and he determined that the size of an atom is 10 power of 1 angstrom, that is 10 power of 10 meters. So the drawbacks of J.J. Thomson is he didn't explain the stability and emission of radiation. So after this, we are getting into another model, that is Rutherford model. All we know that there is an experiment called Rutherford alpha array scattering experiment. So let's get into the topic, Rutherford alpha array scattering experiment. Here, this is the lead block and this is the lead thin plate and this is the gold fluor and this is the ZNS plate. So here he took some source of alpha rays particles. When these alpha rays are passing through this lead thin plate, and these rays are scattering like this. maximum of the rays are falling 99% in the point A, and some of the rays are going to B, C, D. This is due to here by this experiment, and a one ray of 1000 is reflecting back to this original base, and here it is falling from here. Here the Rutherford added a plate ZNS fluorescent material, which it looks like shining there. So in this experiment, he observed that 99% of the ray are going in a straight line, and a small percentage of rays are moving from this original path, due to which might the positive charge is in the middle of atom. So here the minimum percentage of these rays are reflecting from this original path, due to the positive charge is in the center of this atom. So in the second thing, a minute percentage of ray reflecting back, due to he conclude that the mass of the atom is in center of it. Mass is in center. So he concluded that, and he had given the radius is 10 power minus 10 meters, and these are the 3 points that Rutherford explained us. So coming to the drawbacks, he didn't explain the stability of the atom, and this experiment is against of law of thermodynamics. Because according to this, the electron revolving around the nucleus must be fallen into the nucleus at a time of 10 power minus 9 nanoseconds. Because when this is revolving and electron are revolving, it might be fallen into this, and the charge will be zero automatically. When the electron is revolving, the charge must be loose according to this law, but it is against of this. And he didn't explain the electronic configuration. So these are the 3 drawbacks of this Rutherford atomic model. So our next topic will be continued in the next session. Thank you.